Yes.
My lady and my lords, you'll be addressed by my honorable friend, Mr. Otiende Amolo, particularly on the question of turnout, which was asked by Justice Wanjala, and Firoz Norji, Senior Counsel, Paul Mwangi, and Ms. Julie Soweto will address you in those 30 minutes. And I invite Senior Counsel Otiende Amolo to address you on the first question.
Yes.
Not yet.
Yes, not yet. Not yet. Yes. Senior Counsel Oraro, please, or is it Gatia?
My senior is favoring my team.
Yes. 5 minutes.
Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, distinguished judges of the Supreme Court. Actually 3 questions were asked that are relevant to our submissions yesterday, paraphrased as follows. 1, if the National Security Advisory Council 4 knew the results before they went there, and 2, why would the result not be announced the next day to build consensus, and 4, what would be the effect of the non-involvement of the 4 commissioners in the verification and tallying vis-a-vis Article 138(3)(c). Our response is as follows. 1, it is our submission that all factors point to an inescapable conclusion that the 4 members of the National Security Advisory Council, by the time they went to the Bomas of Kenya National Tallying Center, and by the time the head of public service placed a call on the returning officer of the presidential election, by that time they knew. And this is our evidence. By the morning of the 15th, letters had been issued by the returning officer of the presidential election, Mr. Chebukati, to all the presidential candidates and members of their family to be at the National Tallying Center for the declaration of results at 3 p.m. on that day. And my client already had received that invitation. I believe the other presidential candidates had those letters. And therefore, they knew by the time these state officers went to the National Tallying Center, they knew that the verification tallying had been completed, and what was pending was the declaration of the final result. It is our submission, Chief Justice, distinguished judges of the Supreme Court, that these 4 went to the National Tallying Center not for any other reason, but to try to interfere with the declaration of results and thereby try to alter the sovereign will of the people of Kenya, which had already been verified and tallied in accordance with Article 138(3)(c). 2, it is our response that the results could not be announced the following day because, according to the affidavit of the chairperson of the commission, and I'm using the word chairperson on advice by Justice Ndungu, which I agree with entirely, that by that time, it was not possible for any form of consensus, because then the follow-up question was, I think from Justice Lenaola, why, for example, the returning officer would not have waited for an extra day, which he had, to build consensus on the